Hi, I'm Chef Rita. Welcome to Rita's Kitchen. I'm a chef out of West Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I specialize in catering, meal prep, and private chef services. I went to school at the restaurant school and graduated in 2015, where we learned French cuisine. But today, there is not French cuisine. We are going straight to comfort food. So my first dish is my chicken with mashed potatoes and garlic green beans. Then our second dish will be cheesesteak egg rolls, a specialty for me, being from Philly. And then our last dish will be something real comforting to everybody, be chocolate chip cookies. So let's get started. So now we have our chicken breast here. You see we kept the skin on, and now we're just going to season with salt and pepper. And I like to just season one side at a time. And I'm generous helping the salt seasoning here. And then we put a little pepper in there. And now our pan here, we're heated up. I like the pan to be going smoking, so we're about to add our about tablespoon of oil in here. We'll get that going, swirl that around a little bit. We see our pan smoking, that's exactly what we would like. Now, just gonna add our chicken breast now. Skin side down. That's exactly what we wanna hear. And we're going to add more seasoning on the other side, more salt. Hit it with the pepper again. You're probably going to cook about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes on each side. I just would like to get the skin extra crispy. You want a nice golden, and eventually you'll be able to start seeing the golden pop up on there. Add my potatoes going in a boil. We put a lot of salt into there. We don't want the potatoes to be bland either, so we start in a cold pot of water, add the potatoes in. I dice them up smaller because it lets it cook faster. The nice heaping of salt, we bring it to a boil, make sure they're done. So we'll go back here and check these. Usually it's just a tender, as long as you're able to push through, they're done. So we're not quite there yet. Let's knock that up a little bit. Our chicken, I like to move the pan around a little bit, get the oil going. You don't want to mess with the chicken, just let it sit. Just let it sit. We don't want to mess with that too much. We'll just do a quick check. We're not quite there yet. Potatoes are still going, so it's perfect. And then I cranked our oven up to about 400 degrees, and in the oven they will cook for about 20-25 minutes, depending on the thickness of the chicken. A lot thinner chicken will probably, of course, will take shorter time, so it'll take about 20 minutes. I have thicker chicken over here, so we'll probably hit about 25 or half an hour in the oven. There. So I got what I'm looking for on this one here. You see there. Nice color, nice golden, not too dark. We don't want it too dark. And we'll check this other side. It's pretty good. We'll let that go just a tad bit longer. Chicken is like a thing that was always in my household, and my mom always made it as many dishes as she could. Like, Mom, I'm tired of chicken. And it's funny because my dad, he is not a fan of chicken. So she tried not to do it too much, but she did always make a dish for him all the time that us kids, me, my sister, and brother did not care for too much, was spaghetti. Like, all the time. We're like, we don't want spaghetti twice a month, Mom. Please give us something else. We don't want that. But it's funny now that I'm not there anymore, and I'm in my own place now. Now I'm like, kind of miss some spaghetti, some chicken done for me. All right, we're gonna check this chicken here, and that looks perfect, perfect. Now we're just gonna go straight into the oven, 400 degrees. All right, now our chicken's in the oven. We're gonna come back to our potatoes, make sure they're done, so they're nice and soft where I would like them to be. So next we're gonna grab our spider strainer, and we're gonna strain out the potatoes next. Then we will throw them back in the pot. And I'll just sit this here. So now we're going to add a lot of butter, and I like a lot of butter in my mashed potatoes here. So we're just going to open this up. I'll probably do about, for this amount of potatoes, I'll probably do about 2 tablespoons of butter, just because that's what I like. More butter, the better. Add that in there. Then we're just going to mash those up. Now while you're doing it, I kind of leave the heat on a little bit. I just leave the heat on very, very low because I like to keep the potatoes hot, get everything melted down, mashing up. Before we add more salt to it though, I'm going to taste it first to make sure that it's not overly salty, because you know we added the salt into the water as we boiled the potatoes. So, let's see what this tastes like. So we're just going to add just a little bit more. That's perfect. Come back again. Now we're going to taste one more time. Yes, that's how I like my mash. Buttery, salty, perfect. I don't smash mine a little too much. I like mine with a little chunk. I know everybody has their own preference with that. So if you like yours to smash a little bit more, just go ahead for it. Also, we can also put it in a KitchenAid with a whisk on it, and you can actually whisk your potatoes. You can have whipped potatoes also. There's multiple ways you can do it. So that's that. We'll just set those aside. Okay, now we're going to jump into the green beans. For the green beans, it's going to be real basic, just salt, pepper, little garlic in there. And I'll just add a little bit of oil to get it going. I kind of start off pretty high, see how hot the pan is, and bring it down a notch. So now I just add about a handful of green beans, just enough for a dish. And we hear it start to sizzle. I like to start slow. Actually, cooking green beans, when I went to culinary school, at the restaurant school in Philadelphia, restaurant school at Walnut Hill College in Philadelphia. And one of our dishes that we had to do when we did the restaurant was chicken with mashed potatoes that had a red wine port reduction in it. Turned out to be a lot better than I thought. And then some green beans actually, and the way we like to do green beans is green beans with almonds, shallots put in there. That's the French way to do. Our school was French cooking. Lots of butter, lots of salt, lots of everything. So these green beans are going, looks pretty good to me. We just want to get them till they're just al dente. Then I'll add my garlic in. You want the garlic to sweat enough that the flavors come out. We don't want it too much that it start getting too much color to them. We just want enough to get the flavors into the green beans. So as you see, let that go. Green beans are one of my go-to vegetables. I know a lot of people choose asparagus. I'm not too much big on asparagus. It's not my preference, but I know a lot of people do. Green beans is always my go-to because you can just still blanch them ahead of time if you need to. Then we just heat them up real fast for our next meal the next day. But you see, wish you guys could smell. The smell of the garlic's coming through and everything. I like that. All right. So you look pretty good here. See the color starting with the garlic? That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. So now our green beans are complete. We'll just set those aside. All right, so our chicken should be done right about now. It's been about 25-30 minutes. We're gonna pull this out. Beautiful golden brown. Now our chicken's done, we're gonna start plating when we get back. Now that we're back, we're gonna plate up our chicken. We have our plate here. And first I like to put down the mashed potatoes. We'll take a spoon. And you can plate any way you like, but you know I'm the chef, so you have to have a little flair to it, little gourmet. So put the mash down. Then we're going to lay our green beans right on top. And just sit them right on top. We can go a little heavier. Awesome. Now we're going to take our chicken. I like the way this one looks here. You see that nice crust we got on there. We're just going to lay it off a little bit to the side, have it sit up nicely, have that nice skin on there. Then here is our sauce that we made. We have a cream sauce that we added a little stock to, so it was actually stock that we brought up, boiled, reduced down a little bit, then we add a little heavy cream to it. We add a little roux to it also, which is just 1 part butter, 1 part flour to thicken it up just a little bit as we see, and we like it to coat the back of the spoon as you see. it's stuck to the back of the spoon. Usually, as us cooks, we do a little swipe across. Let me see that that's perfect. So I'm just gonna lay this right around the chicken. I don't like to lay it on top because I like the skin to keep its color going. So we'll just put that all around. And there you have it. Our chicken breast, mashed potatoes, garlic mash, and then we have our garlic green beans. There you go. Right now we're going to jump into our cheesesteak egg rolls. So first we're going to show you how to cut our onions here. Now I like my onions to be julienne. Make sure your fingers are tucked and go slow so you can see. As you see, my knife's just going straight down, like it pretty thin. This is straight up and down. Make sure you keep the fingers tucked, using the thumb to hold the onion in place. And it's just that simple. So now I actually have some onions pre-cut already. So we'll just take those. Now that our pan is up, we're going to add a little oil. We want to saute our onions, get them going. I'm not going to put all of these, not too much. Just get them going a little bit. Sweat these out. Now being from Philly, we know what a good cheesesteak consists of. I was born and raised in West Philadelphia. Cheesesteak was like maybe a thing that we had maybe once a week, once every few weeks, you know. And our place to go to was always Jim's Cheesesteaks. It was one, I believe it's on 52nd and Girard. And then we also had one down on South Street. So we went there a lot with my family. Cheesesteak, you know, it has to consist of the basics. We do sauteed onions. A lot of people like mushrooms, but for us it's salt, pepper, ketchup, and that's it. But today we're just going to do cheesesteak egg rolls, and then our sauce will actually be ketchup and a little hot sauce. I'll make a spicy ketchup for you just to see how that goes. And get these onions sweated down. We hear them starting up now. Beautiful. It's a little pro tip. Swirl this pan around. And literally right in this pan with this, I'm going to add our cheesesteak meat. So probably take our cheesesteak egg rolls. I'll probably take about 2. I'll take about 3 actually. So these are the cheesesteak meat. Usually I like to keep them thawed out. If you don't have them thawed out, you can always take them straight from the freezer. It's real basic cheesesteak meat. Find it in any supermarket, but not. And I'll put about 3 in here. Maybe hit it with 4 depending on how many onions we have in here. That's all right. I'm just going to knock this down a little bit. It's a little too much for me here. And make sure it's always seasoned as you go. If you season as you go, you won't have to worry about it in the ending. Hit it with a little salt, pepper here. I think we'll add a few more sleeves in here. That's the other thing. I like a nice seasoned cheesesteak, and to me, like, the best part is how cheesy it is. And I'm not scared of the oils either. I love oils in the cheesesteaks there. So you get that going, looking pretty good. You see our onions are sweat down already. And we're going to add some cheddar cheese to it. I like American cheese in mine. Everybody has their preference. I'm mostly an American cheese person, but we're going to use some yellow American cheese in here just to get this going. I like lots of cheese in mine, so we're going to make it nice. Usually with the cheesesteak egg rolls, once we start building it up, I like to sit mine in the freezer for a little bit just so they form and hold together. But if you're in a rush, we just go straight ahead and throw that all together. So now our cheese is nice and melty in there. See, I like that. That's perfect. Now I have my oil going here. It's just vegetable oil. You can use canola oil, any type of oil you like. We see it start smoking a little bit. You can tell when your oil's done. It starts smoking a little bit, and you can see that the oil has these little, like, I call them like little veins. I know that's what they're called, but it looks, you can see it all swirling around. So you don't want the heat too high. We probably hit about 350 degrees in the oil. All right, now that that's done, we're gonna set this aside, and we can start building our cheesesteak egg rolls. So I have egg roll wrappers here that you can purchase in the supermarket. This basic, these are actually vegan egg rolls, so no egg or anything added to them at all. So I'm gonna come over here. Actually, I'm gonna taste this and make sure this is what I like it to taste like. B, see how good that is? Yeah. We thought we owned a shop. So we're going to take some of our mixture. We're going to lay it right across. And I like to space the egg roll in a diamond shape that I'm looking at a diamond. Makes it easier to roll. So we're going to lay. Try not to go too heavy. If you go too heavy, then it's going to explode all over the place. You just add that much in here. Now, I like to fold my sides together. Fold the sides together first, then we bring the lip up the top. Then I have a little water here, so just dump my fingers in the water. And you have to wet it. This is the only way it will seal. Just enough to get it to seal. And then we go and we roll. Don't push down too hard, the mixture will try to come out. And as we go, we just roll. And just like that. Now we're going to do one more. Again, diamond shape again. And we seal our egg rolls here. Then we're going to clear out first, and then we're going to jump into frying our egg rolls. Right now we're going to start frying our egg rolls. So just pick them up and just lay them in here gently so you do not burn yourself. You see that sizzle there? We just lay them in. And as you see, they start immediately frying up. I think we can add one more in here too. Don't want to crowd the pot too much though. Get here and grab my tongs in here. Make sure you do not burn yourself. Cheesesteak egg rolls are something that I always wanted as a kid. My mom always got cheesesteak egg rolls. When we went to get Chinese food, they had cheesesteak egg rolls for us. My mom, she always gave us regular, just here's an egg roll, here you go. And she popped out and was like, here's a cheesesteak egg. And we were just like, can we have one? She's like, no, not for you guys. So I got older, I was like, I'll make myself some cheesesteak egg rolls. This is something that I love. It's like simple, easy. I was like, I don't just want regular cheesesteak. I want like an appetizer, something to like stick to the ribs, whatnot, make me feel happy, you know? So cheesesteak egg rolls, definitely one of my things to go. And while those are frying, now they'll fry up for about, I'll say 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, so fry up. So while that's going, we have our sauce here that I would like to do. It's just ketchup and a little hot sauce, and we're going to make a spicy ketchup. So all we're going to do is just add a little bit of this hot sauce into the ketchup, depending on how spicy you like it. And then we just mix it up. Just that simple. Beautiful. Nothing extra to it, nothing too much. It's beautiful. Now we see our egg rolls got a nice little color going on to them. Now we're just going to pull these out. I always get a plate with a towel or something. We just want to drain these off enough. Drain off a lot of the oil, excess oil. We don't want too much. See that color? That's beautiful. Let me set those right here. Now we want to start plating up our egg rolls. This is just our appetizer, so we don't want anything too crazy, too heavy. All it is just simple, just the sauce and the egg rolls. Let those two speak for themselves, but not. So we have our plate over here. Beautiful plate. We'll set this out the way. Now I like to go take our hot sauce ketchup, spicy ketchup here. Just add a little dollop down, and you just push away from yourself. Just that simple. And one more time so you get that dollop down and push away. Okay, we're going to take our egg roll, and I'm going to cut it open here on a little angle, just like that. Look at that. Beautiful. We're just going to set that up here. And we're going to take this second one. We'll cut one more. We just want maybe like one more little app there. Perfect. Then we just want to add like a little garnish to our dish. So I have some chives over here. Just a little garnish, nothing too crazy. We take that and sprinkle on top. And there you have it, our cheesesteak egg rolls. Now, sadly, we're coming to the end, but it's okay. Our last dish is chocolate chip cookies. Chocolate chip cookies, one of my favorites, just as a kid. It all goes back to everybody's childhood as a kid. Cookies, always my thing. Chips Ahoy, then I learned how to bake and I was able to bake with myself. Make them crispy, make them a little bit thicker, nice and soft, chewy in the middle. So first we're gonna start with the butter. We take half a cup of butter, which is usually 1 stick, and we'll add that in there. And then also we take 6 tablespoons of white sugar. Throw that in there also. And then we take a half a cup of packed brown sugar. So when you scoop the brown sugar into the measuring cup, you have to make sure you push it down just to get all the air out of it, whatnot. Then we add that into here. Then these 3 ingredients will beat together for about, I'll say 3 minutes, just so they get nice and frothy. We want it to whisk up enough that it will become airy. The more airy your cookie is, the lot chewier and gooier it will be in the middle. So we'll start that up. I kind of doing like a medium-high speed just to get it going. Sometimes you should have your butter at room temperature, but sometimes we don't have enough time to let the butter come to room temp. So we take it right out of the fridge, and usually if you do the 2 sugars and the butter, sometimes you'll have to bring your mixer up a little bit higher if it's straight out the fridge to get it going. Then they'll turn into room temp and they'll keep going. So as we see, the 2 are combined. And then we see right now that it's at about a pale brown color. The more that we whip it and mix it and let it go, it'll get frothier and it'll start to grow, and the color will eventually start changing and turn into like a faint brown. One thing we actually learned in cooking school, I went to cooking school, restaurant school, as I mentioned before, when we did cookies, we had to take a pastry course actually. For about a month we took a pastry course, and they actually taught us how to bake pies, do pie crust, do cookies. We did sugar cookies, we did chocolate chip cookies, we did every cookies. They taught us how to do royal icing, which we were all terrible at. We leave that to the pastry cooks on that one. That one's a little difficult. But chocolate chip cookies are like a little home thing for me. You know, my school, I went to school in 2013. I graduated 2015 with my associate's degree. And from there, I just kept going. I went into multiple jobs. I worked in private golf clubs. I worked in private clubs here and there. Only worked at one restaurant that was open to the public, but I think I like more of the quiet, just the members type setting of work. And you see the color has changed a little bit. Doing this technique, let it go, you set it, forget it, go do what you have to do. It makes your cookie so much more chewy and gooey. I'm gonna slow this down here. We see how that color changed there? That's beautiful, that's exactly what I like to see. So we're gonna bring the speed back up again. And then we have 1 egg we're just gonna add to this. Make sure we never crack the egg over the bowl, just in case shells come out. We crack into a bowl, then we dump into there. Okay? We let that go, bring that up a little bit. You just want that so it come in and combine together. So we're going to have to turn off for a second. Now always make sure you scrape down your edges. You scrape the edges so everything is well combined together. That's perfect. Then we're going to bring this back up again. Turn this back on. You can make chocolate chip cookies like many different ways. We just did regular half a cup of butter. Sometimes you can also put the butter on the stove and let it brown a little bit. Then you get brown butter cookies, which makes it a little bit more of a tang to it, whatnot. But that combined with the sugar, a beautiful combination. All right, so we have that. Now we're going to add a teaspoon of salt. You can do coarse or fine salt depending on how you would like the salt content. I like my salt a little bit more coarse because you can, when you bite into the cookies, you'll taste that salty and sweetness. It cuts the sweetness out a little bit. So we're going to add that in here as the mixer keeps going. Then we have our baking soda. We do 2 teaspoons of baking soda in here, and that can go straight in. We're just going to turn this off for a second, make sure everything is good here. We're going to scrape down the edges and add our baking soda in there. Baking soda helps the cookies stay combined and rise. Baking soda is like the key for baking. If you forget baking soda or baking powder in any of your baking, it's ruined. You're going to have to start over. So we'll mix that all together. And lastly, I like to do the flour, and I like to add the flour a little bit at a time. With the flour, we turn the mixer down, because once we add the flour, we don't want it to go too fast or too much, because once you do that, the gluten starts. That's when your cookie gets tough on you. It'll get a crispy cookie, it's a little too much. So I do a little bit at a time. We turn our mixer down, and then I'll add just a little bit at a time. Let it go. We'll just keep slowly adding in here. Once I got old enough and was able to start cooking in the kitchen, my mom let me go. I just kept going. Watched a lot of other cooks on TV, and I'll pretend that I'm doing a cooking show with them. I had a passion for food for as long as I can remember. It was either this or veterinarian. I learned that I had to learn science to be a veterinarian, and that was out the question. So we just jumped full into cooking. We'll add the rest of that flour in there. And that's going to come together nicely for us. And this is when I bring the speed up just real quick so it come together. Yep, just like that. Then lastly, we'll add our 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. It's right in there. Give it an extra flavor. And that's perfect. We'll scrape these sides down again. The last thing we'll add is the chocolate chips. And you can add as many chocolate chips as you like. I don't really measure this out. You can go from a cup to 2 cups. It depends however much you like your cookies to have. And we'll just dump these straight in there. Oop. Beautiful. I like myself a nice chocolatey cookie. So we'll add, we'll see. That's perfect for me. So we'll take this off of here. Show you what this looks like. I use the stand mixer. Let the stand mixer do the work. Doing by hand is tough. And that's our batter there. And now we're just going to put this on the sheet tray, scoop them out, put them on the sheet tray, and we're going to bake them in the oven for about 375 for about 12 minutes. I usually check around 10 minutes. Sometimes the top gets a little too brown for me, so I usually pull it out a little bit earlier than expected. Now we're going to start assembling our cookies to get ready to go into the oven. So I like to take a sheet tray. Usually I like to spray with Pam, or we can use butter, like we'll do here. I'll show you the butter method. And we just go all over the pan, just like that, just so they don't stick on us. And that's perfect. Then take our cookie batter that we just made. It smells so good. It smells amazing. They always say never eat cookie dough raw. Well, with this, as long as you don't put the egg in it, you're good. Usually this recipe makes about 12 cookies. We'll probably get about 6 to 10 cookies. I like to double my cookies and make a bigger cookie instead of a smaller cookie. So I have just a little cookie scooper here. Scoop it up in there, wipe it off against the edge, and we'll just push that out. And then I'll take another one. We'll go right on top of that one. So you make a bigger cookie. The bigger your cookie, the more you have to space out. So we'll probably do about 8 cookies on this tray. And then the same method all the way down. I think we can fit one more cookie on this tray here. Just like that. Now we're ready to go into the oven. I set the oven to about 375, let it preheat up. It's going to cook about 12 minutes. I'll check it at 10 minutes to make sure there's not too much colorization going on there. And we're going to throw these straight into the oven. And we like a middle rack in the oven. All right, our cookies should be done right about now. It's been about 12 minutes in the oven we had. And I like to just check them, like I said, 10 minutes in to make sure the color is perfect. So we had to take it a little bit longer just to give it that beautiful color. And they smell amazing. You can see how the cookies rolls on us. That's because we did that whipping process. Let the butter and sugars whip together and bring it up a little bit. The cookies smell amazing. Smell up the whole kitchen. Just a simple recipe. And of course, you got to let them cool before you try them, okay? But if you want to dive right in, go right ahead. And that's it. These are our chocolate chip cookies we got here. Thanks for joining me today on Rita's Kitchen, where we did 3 amazing dishes. We did a chicken dish, our cheesesteak egg rolls, chocolate chip cookies. If you liked everything that you've seen today, please follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Food Goddess 95. I'll see you next time. Cheers.